So as a food safety quality assurance services, I'm going to quote this as a service for the fact that this, as an FSQA, this is some of the things that we provide. Here we go again. Hello again, PCQI, and welcome back to our All About Compliance channel. In this segment, we're going to be talking about food safety quality assurance, or FSQA services, okay? And that point of it is, what are we supposed to do, or some of our responsibilities as food safety quality assurance, all right? So I know we've been focused, our channel's been focused on our PCQI roles and responsibilities. In this event, we're going to be wearing another hat, which is now FSQA. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to go change my hat. Hello again, PCQI, and welcome back to our All About Compliance channel. Now, in this segment, we're going to be wearing a different hat, as you can see, and because we're going to be discussing FSQA roles and responsibilities in this segment, and some of those programs that we cover. So as a food safety quality assurance services, I'm going to quote this as a service for the fact that this, as an FSQA, this is some of the things that we provide. Now, what I'm about to go through here, it might not be a complete programs, for it. So just bear that in mind. These are just FSQA services in the point of view of a PCQI. Okay, so let's begin. Now, we get asked a lot about food safety quality assurance services that we provide. So I wanted to just touch base on some of those responsibilities that we take on behalf of our client when it comes to FSQA services. So one of those is approved supplier program. So basically, or supplier approval program, we basically maintain all of the compliance requirements in approving your suppliers or designating them for emergency use only, or a do not use, or approved or non-approved supplier. We maintain all of the requirements, from just your simple statements of certificate of origin, collecting COAs, spec sheets, and also providing or generating receiving protocols for all those ingredients. Now, along with this also comes in our food fraud vulnerability assessment, where we make an assessment on the supplier themselves for fraud activities, as well as the raw materials or packaging materials or any other materials that they provide, including services to our client. We also provide FFVA for that food fraud vulnerability assessment. Okay. Second part of it is we also provide a remote or off-site audit. Now, we also perform on-site audit, but it is more popular now with what we do in remote audits, basically in system audits, on behalf of our client, with the supplier or service provider. Now, some of our suppliers that we work with, work with their own certification body already, or their SQF, their BRC, FSSC 22000, and others. So we also work with them in those non-conformance review and corrective actions, submission and whatnot. So we take a look at those internally or via third party, or them being audited by customers, and we review those. Other part of it is we have some brand owners that we work with. We also provide chemical controls, for their co-management or co-manufacturing management. Sometimes you have a co-management partner that is not certified or don't have the ambition to, so what do you do as a brand owner in this part, or as a customer? How do you deal with that because you want to purchase from them? So we abide by the FSMA rules, as well as the certification standards that our customers, are under, basically, so we can collect those. So those are one of the things. The other one is corrective actions management as well. Now, these are A to Z, by the way, so they're kind of all over the place, but they're alphabetized, so forgive us. The other part is current good manufacturing practices as well. So as part of the FSQA services for our manufacturing partner, we help them maintain or develop their good manufacturing practices, mainly on program development, SOP or procedures, and tweaking their policies, to make it meet all of the regulatory accreditation or certification requirements, as well as other accreditation that they require that needs to meet their good manufacturing practices compliance. Managing their customer requirements, that's one. So some of our clients, obviously, they are working with the big box stores or a very robust, I should say, customer requirement. Some of the big brands out there, they have their own set of requirements that supersedes, a lot of the certification standard requirements. And it's basically, sometimes they are far beyond what the regulatory requirement is, or spot on. That they have to meet all of those requirements and whatnot. Distribution controls is one of those. Obviously, those are like positive release programs, as well as maintaining the movement of the product coming out of the facility, how it's being moved to different warehouse. So we write a lot of those programs on the transportation aspect of it, as well as couriers, SOPs, and things like that. Now, part of our FSQA, when we perform this, is actually monitoring employee training and their requirements. So this could be from a new hire, or it could be somebody that's already there for their retraining, onboarding, and whatnot, and any other new training required by a regulatory or a certification standard. Next part of that, we're on the E section, is environmental monitoring program. So a lot of you knows this as also as pathogen environmental monitoring program. Now, depending on your risk level or classification, if you are a ready to eat or a non-ready to eat, these are customized, for your process. And of course, depends on your product category as well. And if you are exporting the product. Facility controls, obviously, we do that as well as helping some of our brand owner with their co-manufacturers how to maintain a facility compliance that it's not owned by you, right? But it's part of your brand. Basically, you're attached to the hip. So how does that work when you're out, promoting your brand and increasing sales? And you have a co-manufacturing partner that needs to basically either grow with you on these type of requirements. So we help manage those as well. Facility registration. So we have clients that are in multiple countries or multiple markets that they pull either raw materials or work in progress materials that they need to bring in to finish their finished product. Or incorporate it to their finished product. Vice versa, they're supplying another brand that's utilizing their finished product at that point to be incorporated to their customers' product line. So we kind of look at those as well for that. Facility registrations with those as applicable. Food defense and security, so we obviously put those programs together. And when I say programs, we're really talking about programs, policies, procedures, forms for records, and the lessons for training materials. Okay. Food safety management systems, so we put those. Foreign material control. We also do their FSQA audit program for their GMP or food safety or HACCP, as well as assisting them in any GFSI audit scheme, BRC, SQF, FSSE 22000, IFS, and any other accreditation as well, like organic or non-GMO and others. Okay. Also, we manage customer complaints when we are your food safety QA. We manage all of aspects of gathering information, getting to the root cause, putting together the corrective actions and the preventive measures, basically the full investigation of that. In some part, we also communicate with the customer themselves to basically share this with our client's approval, obviously, to be able to share those corrective actions, so to prevent from that incident from happening again. Meeting GFSA standard under the G section of this. Now, some of this you might hear them twice because they're categorized differently or similarly in a way. GLP, or good laboratory practice, for our clients that has an in-house lab. So we also assist on their requirements per ISO 17025. And the next one is HACCP and food safety plan. Now, as a FSQA, we validate your HACCP and food safety plan. We make adjustments on them. So basically, instead of going out to your third-party HACCP provider, we'll maintain those. Now, some of these HACCPs that are been developed by other consultant, we also work with them in putting them together in all aspects of not just the HACCP plan or the food safety plan, but all of the procedures that goes with it, as well as the forms required. We develop those, as well as if you already have them, we audit them, make sure they comply with the requirements for your document review and whatnot. We mentioned HACCP validation and food safety plan validation. We also do this for certification like SQF, BRC, FSSC, or IFS. We create a validation format as part of the requirements from verification and validation activities of those standards. So we will develop your validation protocol for your system. We are on the L part of the FSQA. So over here, we're looking at label approvals. So on the label approvals management, we actually take your finished product labels and we review them under 21 CFR 101. So for the food side of it, and also for the dietary supplement side of things. Now, when we do this, we actually sign off on them. We basically dissect the label, you snip every images, every claim that you put on there, and we basically write you a report if it's conforming or non-conforming. If it's non-conforming, we cite the code, and also we will put a recommendation on other verbiage that are applicable for that section. And then the most important part of it is we sign off on it. So during an audit, it's just not somebody's report that has no claim on it. You actually can provide that to the auditor or to the agency such as FDA or USDA. And that had happened quite often with our work, where an investigator would ask about the label being compliance with the Code of Federal Regulation, and they would actually show our report, and we would never hear from them again in a way. And if they do have some concern, they do contact us and ask us a justification of our recommendation and whatnot, and we then provide those based on the Code of Federal Regulation compliance. We do the label reviews annually, right? Obviously, labels change, right? It could be changed by circumstances, misprint. It could be, color changes, claims, regulatory changes, market change. So sometimes they don't get to us, for that because people get busy. But our protocol as FSQA, we then take a look at that at least once a year and take a look at all of your labels and basically sign off on them. And if there are any changes, we would then, generate a report to be added on. So during your audit, either internally or by a customer or by a third party, that you are in compliance. Okay. Next part of it is packaging controls. So same thing here. So we look at your packaging materials. We also help on this one on traceability. A lot of companies that contact us, this is one of the things that it's a challenge for them, especially when you're ordering rolls and rolls of film, as well as to the hundreds of thousands of packaging. Sometimes their system is not equipped enough to monitor those that are going to the finished product. So we help out in several ways for that. One is working with what they currently have and doing a full traceability for that. And then the second part is working with them on a automation part of that through our itblaster.net. That's our IT software architect and engineer department, where they go in and help these companies develop those simple modules that could be added on the interlinkiq.com portal that we use to manage all of this work, and communicate that with our clients and whatnot. Okay, so next part of this is pest control. Same thing, this is a pest control program, and I have several videos of these guys as well that are either already up or they're coming. So we're producing about 4 videos a day, and our editors are catching up in getting these published. So just bear with us, okay? And if you have some special circumstances, email me, info@consultarinc.com. I know some of the FSQA or PCQI, QA/QC I've worked with. That's kind of their comments. Like, Arnel, would love to say something on the video, but we can't in such a way, in a roundabout way. They can't really open up and have that all over YouTube. I understand. So please just email it. I do this generalized video, to assist all of us in our food safety practices as food safety professionals out in the market or, in the world. And if this is helping you out in such a way, please share it with other PCQIs, right? With our other food safety community. And let's have that conversation. Let's talk about preventive controls. Okay, so let me go back to this. So we have we talked about pest control. We also look at the plant and plant sanitation. So your SSOPs. So as an FSQA, we'll dig deep to those and take a look at those. In a nutshell, make sure we collect the equipment register, equipment information, not just the areas and the general areas of cleaning and whatnot, and really put together those type of procedures that are easily understood. They could be in a form of a simple job description, work instruction, standard worksheets, pictogram and whatnot. However we can put that together and communicate it with the sanitation team, would work best. We would do that. We can do videos. We can do, just huddle forms. We work with big box stores, and that's where we got that technique where, I'm sure when you go to big department stores, they have those meetings and they have, 1 or 2 pieces of paper where they discuss whatever that form of training is. And then they all answer questions that they all comprehended and they sign off on it. So we then collect those. And if you are a user of interlinkiq.com and you've subscribed to it, there is this particular step is on the HR module where this whole thing is automated. It could be in a video where they can watch a 3 to 5 minute video, answer a few questions on a quiz for the comprehension quiz, and then they sign off on it and gives them a training record. It could be used on the phone, iPad, or a desktop, whatever your mobile device is. And if you need to get that set up, please contact services@interlinkiq.com. Our customer success team would love to demo it and discuss that further with you. Okay. Positive product release program. So this has been a big one for positive product release program. Recently, one of our PCQI on the field, they had some products that was worth almost 1.2 or 1.3 million that was held up because of certain testing that was being required. Now, this particular product was due to go overseas, and the receiving country, as a PCQI, we're working with him, and he saw one of our videos talking about regulatory, and he double checked, and goodness gracious, right? It was missed. On a regulatory aspect on some of the percentage of claims to be tested. Now it's being tested. Unfortunately, the product is on hold until that passes or it is acceptable by the receiving country. So part of our work, with them now, is actually keeping an eye out on positive product release program in regulatory requirements. So prior to us working with them, they had that issue, which is not too long ago. Now, as part of our FSQA, that was basically the main thing that we're going to be performing. Now, product specs, obviously, you'll be collecting specification from your suppliers. Now that you have a finished product, you need to have your own product specification, so we can generate those, and create those, in accordance to your finished product. Product quality assurance, that's another services that we work with, under the FSQA. Production controls. Now, if you're a brand owner, some of these you're probably saying, are these a must-have or nice-to-haves, right? We hear that all the time. So for the brand owner, if you don't own your own facility and you just do co-manufacturing or co-packing agreement with another facility, we'll have a different video for you of what you need to have under the Fsqa requirements, as well as your GFSI standard as a brand owner, for that. So we've compiled a lot of these requirements, to abide by a certification standard, just in case your client requires you to have, or under a GFSI standard along with your supplier. So we prepared a different video for you for that. So please keep an eye out on that for being released. We talked about production management program. Now, some of the production management program, obviously, a lot of these is pretty much automation at this point. Companies that has their own production system used in Excel have worked with them for years. They just want something that's that's more robust, automated. It could be collaborated. The forms are digitized and whatnot. But we mainly work on with that one is really synergizing with their HACCP. For that. So on the production part of it, it's really taking the HACCP and automating it, for them. And now some of them, not preferring automation, we also provide other document review services on the production side. Make sure things are getting signed off. They're being verified, especially on your CCPs. As well as being validated. So we take a look at those to prevent any other recall and whatnot, or a possible product withdrawal. Okay, let me go back here. Project management system is another one. So on the project management system, we have clients, they have multiple projects. They're looking to export to Europe or Latin America or to Asia. So we would manage those type of projects. Or they have a new product or a new customer that requires certain certification, as well as conforming with FDA or the Code of Federal Regulation requirements. So, and these are project based. At that point, they just basically outsource to us, and we put that together, for them. And then we have compliance dashboards. Now, these compliance dashboards, I've mentioned, GFSI and certification and whatnot. So, some of you out there might be just under GMPs or HACCP or a food safety plan, or you've taken that leap to go to the GFSI level of an SQF, a BRC, an FSSC 22000, IFS, and whatnot. Or an ISO standard, for your facility. So we would create this dashboard where we can monitor your programs, your policies, your procedures, your forms, as well as your training materials. So these are all compiled into our system. Now we can manage this remotely, or we can manage it on site with you, as well as basically being a part of your QA team as your compliance department. Okay, hence it's the Fsqa Services. Quality controls. So we work with your QC and your quality controls aspect of what you do. We also work with your quality management system. Now, some folks that works with us when we're providing FSQA, what is the depth of the service? It's really is up to you how you want us to get involved. But as soon as we are activated, we take the food safety and quality assurance service very seriously. We tend to take over, especially when when you have a younger team. What I mean by that is maybe you have a new hire, a new grad and whatnot, or they're just getting started, or you have somebody that's seasoned, or the team is seasoned but they're just overwhelmed. So they can actually literally says, hey Arnel, here's a blanket. What part of FSQA can you cover, and could you let me know what your commitments are, for those in a daily basis, in a weekly basis and whatnot. And then we would then put those together. Okay, so we're in the R's, PCQIs, all right, we're almost there. So we also do your recall and traceability program, including assisting on mock recall and your traceability exercise requirements. So we actually will work with you on that one as well. Now, in an event of a recall, then we take over. Okay, so if there's an issue, we would then facilitate everything. It depends on your capability. Sometimes when that happens, we have clients, it's just pure anxiety and stress. So we would then step in and take a look at all of the guidelines and requirements per FDA or USDA, and then do those reporting for you, just gathering all that information, all of the product information and whatnot, and drafting everything for us to submit. Okay, receiving material protocol. Now, this part right here, this is where we take your ingredients and packaging materials, anything that you're receiving, as well as services, right? And we then take a look at that part of it. Let me focus on receiving material. Now, on this part is we write all of your receiving SOPs, right? How to receive it, offload it, if you need to thaw it, you need to put it back in the chiller if it's ambient. Most important part is if you need to test it for any pathogens or any chemicals, toxins on it, we'll identify those, put the parameters together. We write the sampling SOPs, submission SOPs to third-party lab, and the most important part of it is when you get the test results, how to make a determination if it's a pass or fail, if you're going to admit that. So these receiving protocols, we've been challenged on by, this is about last year, we had an auditor that basically looked at all of the traceability and brought brought the receiving SOPs, for that, just out of conversation. And, we took that hint right there that, okay, the auditing bodies or the certification bodies are really going in the full traceability, of this, and they saw, it's coming. So because of that experience, we took it upon ourselves to inform all of our clients that we're going to be adding these services, as well for them, just in case. And sure enough, on the next audit, and that was asked, we actually produced those receiving protocols. Hence, we didn't get a demerit or, a -1, right? Or a minor or a major, depending on your requirement. Now, let's go to the Records Verification Validation Program. So we actually do that. We call it RVVMP. We actually have that process where we verify every record that you have, that they've been performed, and also do the reviewing. And if there's an issue, we'll let's say somebody forgot to initial a section, or misquoted the date and things like that. Things happen, right? People are in a hurry. They're supposed to initial in this box, but for whatever reason, it was outside the page. It was on the corner and whatnot. So we would raise those alarm, call it into action to have those corrective actions on that particular form, record those for submission in the event of an agency audit, why those changes occurred or deviated from the norm on the forms. So we would then prepare all of those and catch it early, instead of during an audit you catch it there and it's too late, right? Regulatory requirements. So we review regulations all the time. As you can see, some of the videos we have about warning letters and recalls. We also read new guidelines that are coming out from the food sector, dietary supplement, and other categories like organic requirements and whatnot. So whatever those regulatory requirements, we review those. Now, if you're exporting, we then add that in. So if let's say you're exporting to Korea, to Japan, to Switzerland and whatnot, or Latin American countries, we also take a look at their regulatory updates to make sure you are in compliance of those. We talked about sampling protocols, so we will prepare those for your sampling, and we talked about sanitation as your SSOPs. Shelf life monitoring, the same way. So shelf life monitoring, we do it in two ways. One, obviously accelerated is one. So if you require that, you have a new product, and you're not gonna wait a year. You're not going to wait 2 years on your claim, and you want to do an accelerated program. So we'll put the protocols together, help you maintain it. We don't do the actual testing for that. We then work with other third-party lab, for that. We just, monitor and implement those protocols for you. Okay. So if it's, if it's not accelerated, it's actual. We will then assist you on maintaining your retains, submitting them on time, as well as maintaining records, for that particular event that you're performing. Okay, so let me see. Stability study surveillance, that was part of our shelf life protocol as well. We talked about testing protocols earlier. Same thing with transportation operations. Now, on transportation, obviously, you're looking at that. If you're just selling domestically, you have all of those. But there's some SOPs that you need to have when you're dealing with your courier or your trucks that are going out there that are Fsqa requirements. It's really the sanitation of the delivery vehicle at that point. But now on the transportation operation, when we put this together, we're going to ask you if you are going to be exporting, because then we would then take a look at your protocols that you're going to need to have in place, or part of your agreement with your transportation agreement, with your carrier, especially if the material is sensitive to temperature. Okay, so we would then take a look at that. Next part of it is vulnerability assessment. So we do a lot of vulnerability assessment. I love hazard assessment, right, or hazard analysis. When we're looking at your particular activities, we just kind of look at that and make an observation and make sure you are looking at every aspect of your food safety requirement are being met on that. So a lot of the verification activities that we look at really begins with all of your preventive controls. So we have a video that's coming up all about preventive controls and all of the steps from just you, right, as 21 CFR 117, you, the operator, the agent in charge, what are your requirements to have preventive controls, all the way down to distribution. So it's basically an A to Z. So on your verification activities and assessment. And lastly, I'm on the W, it's warehousing controls. So as you can see, PCQI, we went through A to Z, so I apologize on the process flow and the process narrative here. But on warehousing control, let's go back to that. It's the same thing as your storage and distribution section. So when we put this together, we take a look at your all of your warehousing activities, equipment maintenance in the warehouse, allergen management, inventory management, housekeeping management, anything that involves your warehouse, including maintenance of some of your systems in there, like your HVAC systems, refrigeration systems, and things like that. So all of your warehousing controls are going to be a part of that. All right. So let me end it here. Just wanted to discuss some of the FSQA services that we offer, or as an FSQA on your part that you need to take a look at, for you as a PCQI, right? And providing food safety and quality assurance type of roles and responsibility in your facility. Well, till then, PCQI, thank you for your viewership. And if you see value on the content that we are providing to our food safety community, please share this with our food safety professionals and fellow PCQIs out there. Once again, thank you and have a great day. Bye for now. Contact us. And don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Thanks again, PCQIs. Have a good one.